Today is World Teachers Day. It is a day to celebrate the teachers for their contributions to education and development of students in the society. This year, the theme, Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery, focuses on their determined and diligent efforts in the crucial stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. The United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, is calling on countries to invest in teachers and prioritize them in global education recovery efforts so that every learner has access to a qualified and supported teacher. That is the crux for our discussion. Now, I have in the studio Chairman, Nigeria Union of Teachers, Lagos State Branch, Akintoye Hassan, with me here in the studio. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, sir.
And happy World Teachers Day.
Yes, we are indeed happy to see this day.
Great. Now, talk to us basically, when it comes to teaching in this part of the country or this part of the world, if I have to put it that way, these days, if you ask a young child, what would you like to become? Teaching is one of the professions that they are not going to be very quick to mention. I wonder how things have been all the while, the trends. Why is it changing like that? Because I remember when we were young, teaching was one of those we called when we say, what do you want to become? Engineer, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be, and things like that. Talk to us from there.
Thank you very much, my brother. You have reflected back into the past. You will realize that stepping out of the family circle, the next set of human being you come across while growing up is a teacher. So that means the first kind of model a child will choose in life is likely to come from within the teachers. So when society decided to relegate the position and the value they place on this first set of model that any child is looking up to, that is the reason why you have such a nation going backward instead of forward.
When you talk about the issue of relegating, does it come like a deliberate effort by some person somewhere, some institution somewhere, to say let us suppress the teaching profession? Make us understand what are the trends that relegated the teaching to where it is? No leader or no nation would deliberately or consciously determine to just relegate the teaching force. It happens unconsciously because most of the time we don't try to prioritize our values and needs for the society. For a society that is focused, they will have to, probably itemize issue that has to do with the development of that nation. So as they are doing that, consciously, they will come to realize that education is the bedrock of this developmental project. So where you don't have a nation that is focused on developmental project, definitely, they can't get the foundations right. So not a deliberate effort. It's not a conscious effort, but unconsciously we find ourselves there and it getting deepens. And as a matter of time, the victims of the circumstances eventually became leaders in our society. And that is where it got worsened. All right, now talk to us basically how COVID-19 impacted the teaching profession.
I may not be able to generalize because I may be forced to speak within the context of the state and environment where I practice.
Of course, that is exactly what we want to see. That's what we want to hear. Because the point there is, what you went through is similar to what somebody else went through. Of course, there will be peculiarities here and there, but let's hear your story.
So that if I'm talking, teachers outside the state might not thinking that I am making a serious mistake.
We want to hear your story.
But as far as Lagos State is concerned, I think the pandemic has little much effect on the education system because, you know, we have had a similar experience during the days of Ebola. So that has made us to have gotten a kind of preparation to address such issues. So when this COVID-19, you know, came, we also came together, all stakeholders within the education family in Lagos, and we fashioned our way out, you know. And we happened to be the first set of state that opened the school in the country. And, you know, like I said, when the employer of labor is getting it right, it will be easier for the employee to adjust, to reason along with that employer and have a common focus. So all the stakeholders in the education system in Lagos State remain as a family, so we work together. So everybody plays their own role. The teacher will play our own role, the representative of employer or the agencies of education, we all play our role, and we are getting on well. And if you go into statistics, I doubt it if we have recorded any casualty or much casualty as far as teacher or student is concerned.
So what did you do differently that made you know, not feel the impact
this
that bad?
This issue of COVID-19, it has to do with education, you know, enlightenment, because we have made to realize that it's not even about the vaccine that has been developed. It's about this observation of protocol and this little hygiene to be entrenched, and that is what we have used. No other magic. We have water running, the sanitizer, and this distance, social distance. And we started with that. We observe it critically. We use the students as point of contact to parents. I think that's why we said.
But there was a period of lockdown. How did the teachers in Lagos cope with the lockdown?
Like I said, we didn't have much problem with that because we did online teaching. Then the government procured this radio. Then we use Zoom, some other thing, you know, to engage our students at a various, you know, television, our own indigenous television here, LTV, you know, we do learning, and that things were moving on. And assignment being given to students, we kept them busy. So when the lockdown was, you know, discarded, it was easier for us to take off from there.
All right, now the theme of this year's World Teachers Day is Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery. How central is this theme to the realities of where we are now in the teaching profession?
So if you look at that theme, we have keywords there. That particular keyword is the heart. When you try to reflect on the position of earth in human system, one is alive when your heart is working. So that is why we have chosen that word, teachers are there. That whatever that will make education work, you have to start from the teachers. Because when you get the teachers right, definitely everything will be right. Because that is the first set of people that is going to carry out the, or probably be responsible for the implementation of education policy. So if you make them to be at the center, then things will work. And there are so many ways we can, you know, buttress this fact that teachers remain at the heart of education. Even with the introduction of information technology, somebody has still have to, you know, put the student through in making use of the information technology. So the technology, precisely what we mean is that we cannot use it to replace the effort of teachers. That's why we said teachers is still at the center, the key.
At the heart of education recovery.
Because the word recovery has actually established that we have not been getting it right. Absolutely.
Exactly. So let's come to that recovery, because it is now drawing attention to the need to get back on track.
Yes.
And then get things right the way it's supposed to be. So what do we do? What should we do as a people, as a union on one hand, and then as a government on the other? What should we all be doing to ensure that we get that recovery?
I would rather begin from the point of employer of labor, which is basically the government. Because when I'm talking from the point of the fact that I'm from public sector. You know, we have teachers in the private sector, you know, in the public sector, but we tend to, you know, center everything about education on the public sector, because that is the sector that constitutes the major percentage. So the first thing is for the employer of labor, now the government, to get it right with the teachers in terms of motivation. And that has to do with the regular payment of salary, promotion as and when due, payment of some special allowance to attract people. Like we have a particular allowance we call teacher-specific allowance, that it is only when you are in the classroom, because we have teachers in the offices. So if you decide to remain in the classroom, you earn that allowance. So these are some of the issues that will make people to believe in carrying out teaching activities in the classroom rather than even in the office. And once you get it right, any worker that is really motivated, we want to do this job diligently. It is not absolute, but the fact is that if you are not doing it well, then you know that you are due for sanction, because whatever you ought to enjoy will be given unto you.
So on a day like this, how best do you commemorate a day like this, World Teachers Day?
Like today in Lagos, and I think all over the country, teachers will gather at a specific place, then pick a personality that will speak to this theme of the year, then come together to reflect on the challenges facing the education sector as a whole, with a view to provide solution to them, and still look back, see whether they have made any tremendous achievement, and probably celebrate those achievements. So today in Lagos, it is a work-free day. So the students are not in school.
Just in Lagos? Work-free day just in Lagos?
I am speaking for Lagos. And that has commenced right from the days of Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. It has been a work-free day. And this is one of issue that we are talking about, that if on Children's Day, the children are made to stay at home, celebrate, and all over the world, everybody know that today is Children's Day. So what should be different when it comes to teachers? And I think we achieved that in Lagos. So today, our teachers, our children are at home, and people will be watching this program. This is a kind of a forum and a program to celebrate teachers too. Because if you do not invite us to talk about teachers, in fact, majority of people wouldn't have known that today is Teachers Day. So when I leave here, I will be moving right away to the NUT Pavilion in Lagos. That is our pavilion, where we are going to receive governor of this state, our own Babajide Sanwo-Olu, then his wife, and Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Folasade Adefisayo, a very important personality we are looking up to celebrate these days together.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the issue of the roles of the NUT, Nigerian Union of Teachers. I wonder what, I know you would have heard a lot of comments sometimes when people complain of the qualities of the kind of teachers that are in many of the schools right now. I wonder what the NUT does in ensuring that the teachers that are in the classrooms are of the quality stuff that they used to be, because there has been lots of complaint of the drop in the quality. What do you say?
Like I said earlier, that I will be making specific reference to Lagos State.
Always talk about, you are chairman of Lagos. Of course, we don't expect you to talk about Gombe State.
So that issue, we might not be able to generalize it as far as Lagos is concerned. I said we operate as a family. in Lagos. So we identified this problem long time ago, and we have been working towards it. You know, you can't get into a classroom in Lagos, first of all, having gotten the requisite qualification, you will have to write exam. And at that level, even if you are a son of the governor of this state, I'm saying it emphatically, you have to pass the exam. So nobody interferes. It is after that level that you now come to oral interview, where some other issue that has to do with testing on the psychology of that personality who want to take up such a profession. So that is where it comes in. But right from the beginning, we make sure that we make effort to put the round peg in the round hole. You do exam.
That's the entry point.
You are licensed, then even right in on the job. There has been a kind of regular training and retraining in Lagos. As I'm talking to you right now, some set of people are undergoing training on this digital application of knowledge to teaching. So that's just the way we can go about it. The NUT has always been working with our employer, making sure that we bring information from outside there to the notice of the government, then we analyze it and we provide solution together. And it has been working for us. Rather than be the agitator of those days that will bang table, we rather take the approach of being scientific, do little research.
But when you are scientific and you are being persuasive and you're being consultative,
you get more
and you're not getting the result, what happens?
It depends on the quality of leadership you have in place. Lagos, we are looking forward to become a mega city. So we can't afford not to get things right. In fact, the consultation from the government point of view, I want to give it to them. Because at Subeb level, headed by our own Honorable Alawiye King, we not do anything without consulting the union. Ditto at the ministry level, the Honorable Commissioner, the TESCOM, Mrs. Ariyo, they will hardly do anything. That let us see, this is what we have in mind. Please, let us hear your view, so that we won't get at the implementation and say that is the time when you will be raising issues. So, and that has been the secret of how we have been getting it right in Lagos State. It's not about the boss to subordinate. We see ourselves as stakeholders, and it has been a very good time for all of us.
Now, let's talk about the issue of exam malpractices, which has been part of the challenge within the education sector. In some quarters, we've heard of parents assisting their children with the collaboration of teachers to ensure children pass with certain kind of results. How challenging is that within the NUT, and what is the NUT doing to ensure this doesn't happen?
You said what we are doing to make sure that it doesn't happen, because it has been right from time immemorial. We talk about examination malpractices. It has not stopped, and it may not likely stop. But the fact is that one day it will be eradicated. Absolutely. We begin with sensitization of our member, making them to realize that we will not be a labor leader that will stand in defense of anomalies. And in as much we do everything humanly possible to place the issue of their welfare before the employer, and they try to meet up. Then unto whom much is given, much is expected. So we are zero tolerant to it in Lagos. We are frown at it, and we talk to our members on regular basis in respect of this. And I think there is a mechanism to reward the best hands in Lagos. So rather than engaging yourself in these illicit activities, you will rather focus on how you can become the best. through a
yeah, but despite that, we still have reports of some of
there's
these things.
No way we will not have. It's everywhere. Even in medical profession, you talk about quack doctor. Every sector has its own challenges. What is important is that what is that instrument we are putting in place
so that's
to
what I'm asking. What's the specific instrument? Has there been any case where the NUT, for instance, has waded into a situation where there was an exam malpractice or there was a report and all of that, and NUT waded into the issue to prevent it? Has there been an issue like that?
There has been of such.
Share with us.
It is not as regular as we're thinking about. About 1 or 2 years ago, we had a report, because when you talk about this examination malpractice, it doesn't occur within the context of internal examination. It is when we are talking about this WAHEC or GC, when parents believe that, oh, I can't afford to allow this child to wait a year or more before he got his examination passed. So there is a kind of inducement, sometimes external forces on these people, and we do talk to them, and when it happens, we also come in to investigate where we can even provide let me say, this enabling environment so that it doesn't happen. We try as much as possible to do that. We have our officer at the branch level moving around to make sure that probably those they have information about their activity who can forfeit, they are not even included in the invigilation of examination at all. Apart from that, like this GC or external exam, it has to do with senior secondary school. So in Lagos, we don't allow this exam to be held in our senior school, rather in junior school, so that those teachers who are rightly in charge of that aspect will not be involved in the conduct of that exam. So these are some of the specific issues. Then when you are found wanting, they face serious disciplinary action at the PMB level. And they know that it's a very, very serious offense.
All right. Now, I know you've mentioned it before, but for emphasis, the issue of motivation cannot be overemphasized.
Yes.
And the moment anybody is motivated, you can go extra mile, even when things seem bleak. You want to go extra mile because you are highly motivated.
Yes.
Talk to us basically, what will make the Lagos State teacher highly motivated to the level where he knows that this profession, I would do everything to take it to the highest level of things?
In Lagos, it's not about what will. It's about sustaining what has been working for us. By 25th, 24th of every month, when you have reward for the work you have done, that is enough motivation. Then when you are due for promotion and you get it, as I'm talking to you right now, even in the last 2 years, those who were due for promotion, they were given promotion. Just in July, myself, I've just been promoted to the level of Deputy Director of Education.
That's amazing.
So
congratulations.
Is it so easy? We have so many of our state where when you get to level 12, 13, you stop there.
But the point is, you are a very senior staff within the teaching profession and all of that, and even within the union. How about those who are the lower ebb? Can they all testify that
it's not about the level where you belong? Once you are eligible, you'll be enlisted, and you go for the training. It used to be examination in those days, but about a few years back now we have stopped. They engage us in serious training where you will be prepared for the next level. That is what operates in Lagos. After the training, then you do some little exam for the test of the knowledge you have acquired in the course of training. And that has been our style. And after that, you get your letter of promotion with implementation followed immediately. And that has happened even with this last month. And we are giving it back. I realize that teachers of Lagos State, we are giving it back. As I'm talking to you right now, the best teacher in Nigeria from junior school category is right now in Abuja for presidential award. Lagos produced the best teacher in the junior school category. We produced the best teacher in the senior school category. The recipient, they are right now in Abuja.
That's amazing.
And apart from that, the best school in Nigeria now, Bolade Grammar School, Junior Grammar School, is the winner of the best school in Nigeria from Lagos State. We are combing in 3 awards nationally today. And that is to show that what we are saying, we couldn't have gotten there if it doesn't work the way I presented it. We will not come here to shoe shine. So
all right. Okay. Well, I wish you well, Akintoye Hassan, Chairman, NUT, Nigeria Union of Teachers, Lagos State Branch. Thank you very much for all you do, and we urge you to do more. And we wish you well in celebrating or commemorating World Teachers Day today.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.